So today we are covering trinomials, and that's all we're going to do. All the notes are today are examples. There's nothing else to write, nothing else you need to worry about other than how to do these examples. There are 4 levels of trinomials. The first one's pretty simple, and they just get a little more difficult as we go up the line. So we're just going to start off. I'll show you all the possibilities and how to do each one. X squared plus 4x plus 3 would be a fine trinomial there to start off with. How many terms are up there? 3. That's why we call it a trinomial, 3 terms. So you still have to go through the first 2 steps on all of these problems. You have to look for a common term. Do all 3 of those have anything in common? No. Do 2 of them. Yeah, what could we take out if we just had these 2? Doesn't really help, does it? Yeah, we can take an x out of these first 2, but not the third one. So you don't have anything in common in all 3. So you're done with step 1. Step 2, we look for what? Difference of how many? 2 perfect squares. There's 3 terms up there, so you know you don't have that either. So we've determined it is a trinomial. So whenever you do determine that, you're always going to put 2 sets of parentheses under there. All of your factors today will look something like that, maybe. We can do trinomial. Some of your answers look like that, but they weren't because we did trinomial. Like difference of squares, you have x plus 2 and x minus 2. We did that. And that's the same thing we're doing today, just another way to do it. So if you do not have a number in front of that x squared, you can always put your x's in. Okay, that's one of your first steps, right along with making your parentheses. And then we will always have signs in here. As you see, we have a plus and a minus in that example up there. But this one, we don't know what the signs are. They will either be both plus, both minus, or one of each. So how do you determine that? You look at the second sign. What does addition mean in math? What's the other word for it? You're finding a what? The sum. You need to associate that word sum with same. Sum, same. Anytime that second sign is a plus, that's what you need to know, that your signs are the same. So in any problem where you have a plus here, your signs will either be both pluses or both minuses, but they will be the same. You're not going to have a plus and a minus. So how do you know whether they're both pluses or both minuses? You look at the first sign. They are the same as whatever that sign is. So for this problem, both of them are pluses. Whatever that first sign is, if it was a minus, then they'd both be minuses. So now we have everything except the numbers here. We don't know what to put in there for numbers. You need, and you don't have to write this down on every problem, I'm just showing you what you're trying to find. You need to find factors of 3, or factors of whatever this number is. In this case, it would be factors of 3 that have a sum of 4. Factors of this number that add up to the middle number, that have a sum of the middle. So, what are the factors of 3? 1 and 3. That's your only choices. So if this middle number was a 5, you could not, this is not a factorable problem. So this is your only options for factors of 3, 1 and 3. Do they add up to 4? Yeah, so it works, and you can plug them in. It doesn't matter where, since your signs are the same anyway. So again, if that middle number had been anything other than 4, you couldn't solve this problem, because there aren't any factors of 3 that add up to anything else. So that's level 1 problem. Your signs are the same, and you only have 2 numbers to put in. We'll do a couple more of those before we go on to level 2. How many levels are there? 4 levels. Yeah. X squared plus 9x plus 18. Again, step 1 and 2, we assume we've already checked that, so we know it's a trinomial. We put our two sets of parentheses. What do we put in there next? Put the x's in the front, and we would put our signs in. So again, you look at this second sign. What does that mean? Same. Same as what? Same as the first sign. What is it? It's a plus. So these are both pluses. We need factors of 18 that have a sum of 9. What are the factors of 18? 1 and 18. 2 and 9. 3 and 6. Can you add up to 9? So we put those in there. 3 and 6. You don't have to write those down. I mean, a lot of you would be able to know, well, 3 and 6 factors of 18 that add up to 9. You don't need to write that down. That's fine. You don't have to. Just make sure you get it right. So like last time, these are factors, x plus 3 and x plus 6. Those are factors. If your original problem is set equal to 0, and the directions say to solve, then you would have to set each one of these factors equal to 0 and solve them. You do not have to show this work, these steps here. Most of you can look at that and know that if it's x plus 3, you're going to subtract it and get x equals negative 3, and that's fine. And that one would equal negative 6. So again, in chapter 5, what are we trying to find? X what? Where the parabola crosses the x-axis, and this one would cross at negative 3 and negative 6. Those are the two places. You didn't have to graph it, you just looked at it and knew. So again, make sure you read your directions. If it says solve, you got to solve. If it says factor, you don't. X squared minus 10x plus 24. Done step 1 and 2. Put our x's in. Now in this case, are signs going to be the same or different? They're going to be the same. What are they going to be? Both minuses in this problem. So we're looking for factors of 24 that add up to 10. What are the factors of 24? 1 and 24, and somebody already said 4 and 6, so we don't need to write any more down, and we plug those in. Where does that one cross the x-axis? 6. 1 and 6 are your roots, are your zeros, are your answers. Questions over those 3? Again, that's level 1. Signs are the same. Level 2, your signs will be different. And it's pretty much the same. All the levels are related. Just some are a little more tricky. X squared minus 2x minus 3. So what's different here than the other 3 problems? The second sign is now a minus. In math, what does minus mean, or subtraction? Difference. So we're looking at this sign now, and we know that means difference. Once you see that that's a minus, you don't have to look at anything else. That means your signs are different. So when you make your parentheses here, you put your x's in, you just make 1 plus and 1 minus. Doesn't matter what that first sign is in this case. You just know one of them is positive, one of them is negative. Your signs are different. So we're looking for factors of what? Factors of 3 that have a what? Difference. Now we're looking for a difference of that middle number. Factors of 3 that have a difference. 2. Difference of the middle number now. If your signs are different, you're looking for a difference. Some of them will work out both ways. So you have to make sure you know which one of them you're looking for. So what are the factors of 3? Again, they're 1 and 3. 1 and 3 have a difference of 2. Yes. So what's the problem here that we didn't have in the other ones? Now we know these are the two numbers. What? Right, because you can't just put them in either spot because now we have one positive and one negative. How do we know which one goes with which? Here's how you know. We know it's 1 and 3. We have to determine which one's positive and negative. So you look at this middle number. Is it positive or negative? It is negative, so your bigger number here has to be negative. So you put the 3 with the minus and the 1 with the plus. Whatever your middle number is, your bigger factor has to be. Our middle number is negative. Our bigger factor 3 has to be negative as well. So where would that one cross the x-axis? -1 and 3.